Hey there guys, welcome to Drafting with Morgan. I'm Morgan, and this is the long-awaited release of Oath of the Gatewatch. We are in a Swiss draft, as all of the release events are, and I'd probably start out with a Swiss draft just because I want to give you guys full value for my Oath of the Gatewatch drafts. Starting out with interesting picks here. First of all, my background with Oath of the Gatewatch drafts. I've played in 2 sealed Oath of the Gatewatch PPTQs, didn't do particularly well, not very proud of my result, but, you know, it was a learning experience. I have done about 5 or 6 house drafts as well, along with a release draft at my store, so I've had a lot of experience. Tyrant of Valakut is sweet. When it enters the battlefield, if its search cost was paid, it deals 3 damage to a target creature or player. Its search cost is 5. Otherwise, it costs 7 on its own. I like Tyrant of Valakut. I think that it's fairly reasonable even at 7 mana. There's also Boulder Salvo, which is fine removal. Rolling Waters is obviously really sweet because it says draw 2 cards. It's very good tempo play. Shoulder to Shoulders, been surprisingly good. Umar Entangler's kind of exciting. Sky Sour is fine. Seer's Lantern, very good in sealed. I'm not quite sure how it plays in this limited yet. Here we have an Embodiment of Fury, which is sweet. Trample land creatures you control have trample whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. You can have target land you control become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still land. Sweet because it stays on color. However, there's also an Isolation Zone, which is one of the unconditional removal spells. And while it dies to enchantment removal, it's still very good. I think I take that over the Embodiment of Fury. I'm not particularly attached to Tyrant of Valakut, even though it's a sweet card. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and take the Isolation Zone here. A couple of good ones here. Zada's Commando I've had pretty good experiences with. Nissa's Judgment is another piece of removal. Allied Reinforcements is a good way to trigger the rally triggers twice. Undo War Cleric is a fine 2-drop. I think I'm interested in both Nissa's Judgment and Allied Reinforcements. I like Nissa's Judgment because it's another piece of removal. It allows me a little bit more flexibility to play a Tyrant of Valakut if I wanted. Whereas Allied Reinforcements, Undo War Cleric stay on the white plan. But I think I take Nissa's Judgment. It's just a really strong card. It's not even a fight card. Nissa's Judgment says choose up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it deals damage equal to its part of that creature. And worst comes to worst, it's up to 1 creature your opponent controls. So you can use it just as a support too. So Embodiment of Insight is the green version of the landfall creature that we just saw. It's pretty sweet. Well, land creatures you control have vigilance. Landfall makes your land a 3/3. Reality Hemorrhage is fine. Mighty Leap is fine. Shoulder to Shoulder, again, pretty good. I like taking either Embodiment, Reality Hemorrhage, or Shoulder to Shoulder. I think it's just Reality Hemorrhage. Embodiment of Insight is an effect that we can, like, mid-rangey creature with an impact on the board is something that we can get quite frequently, whereas Reality Hemorrhage I think is harder to replace. Here, Joraga Auxiliary is pretty sweet, but it's a little bit outside of our color range right now. Makindi Aeronaut is incredibly good. I also like Saddleback Legak quite a bit, but I think that you need Makindi Aeronauts before you can get Saddleback Legaks. Expedition Raptor is fine. I think I'm going to take the Makindi Aeronaut here over Saddleback or Stalking Drone. 1/3 is not insignificant in this format. I could take a Bone Saw, serve my Tyrant of Valakut. Not actually bad with Makindi Aeronaut, I think. I could also consider taking Brute Strength. Brute Strength is a sweet combat trick, especially when you're playing like green. It forces through damage pretty well. I think we take that over like Expedite. Canopy Gorger, also an option, but I like taking Brute Strength here. Wow. It's a really late Scion Summoner. Shoulder to Shoulder, also an option, but Scion Summoner is one of the better common 3-drops. So I'm going to go ahead and take that over like Hedron Crawler or Shoulder to Shoulder. Tajuru Pathwarden is sweet. It's just huge. Pathfinder is also pretty good. Expedition Raptor is fine, especially with things like Scion Summoner. Iona's Blessing is kind of sweet too. I think I take the Expedition Raptor. I like it as a 5-drop because it has flying, which is pretty important. Gonna go ahead and take Shoulder to Shoulder here. Shoulder to Shoulder is pretty sweet with, like, flyers, for example. The fact that it cycles makes it pretty good too. Searing Light's fine. Loam Larva is actually fine. Expedite seems reasonable. I think I just go ahead and take the Loam Larva. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. It's not card advantage, but, you know, it's reasonable. Here, it's between Canopy Gorger and Lead by Example. Lead by Example being a sweet combat trick, Canopy Gorger being just a big guy. I think I'm going to take the Lead by Example here. Go ahead and take Mighty Leap. Natural State doesn't kill a lot of enchantments in this format, so it's not very exciting. I'll take Vines. Expedite's fine. The 1-mana combat tricks are actually kind of interesting too because of things like Tyrant of Valakut. So you can attack with your creatures, Vines, and then play Tyrant of Valakut second main phase. Alright, we have Joraga Auxiliary, 6 mana, support 2, fine. Ondu War Cleric, great 2-drop. Kind of, the 2-drops are things that you want in this deck. Goblin Freerunner, Menace with Surge is pretty sweet. Tajuru Pathwarden, Vigilance and Trample is very strong. I'm going to take the Wall of Resurgence though. When I have things like Lead by Example and Shoulder to Shoulder, I want things that make 2 creatures, and that's something that Wall of Resurgence does. There aren't a lot of things that can remove your your land right away, so I don't feel like I'm setting myself back a lot by doing it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Wall of Resurgence. Birthing Hulk is a creature that I like a lot. It has Devoid, and when it enters the battlefield, you put 2 colorless Scion creatures onto the battlefield. It has 1 and a colorless Regenerate Birthing Hulk, which makes it a fairly reasonable creature, especially since it protects itself. But I think I just take Immolating Glare here, destroy target attacking creature. Although I could see taking something like Goblin Bushwhacker as well. Especially if I knew that green wasn't going to be open. But I think I just take Immolating Glare. Pretty excited to take another Makindi Aeronaut. This card is actually the nut. Being a 1/3 that I can bolster onto, or not bolster, but support onto, makes it pretty good. Things like Tar Snare don't kill it. Things like Ring Flush, I can't remember what it's called, have a limited time frame for when they can kill it. It's also an ally. It's pretty good. Let's see. There's a Seagate Wreckage, which is pretty good. You can add colorless to your mana pool or draw a card when you're hellbent. Baloth Null is worth splashing in the green decks, in my opinion. Boulder Salvo is a red removal spell, which is fine. Spatial Contortion is a more unconditional removal spell, and I think it's what I'm interested in here. Kor Master is also pretty good with the counters, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Spatial Contortion, and maybe it's wrong to take it over the Seagate Wreckage, but something that I'm interested in. Here I'm going to take another Isolation Zone over a Scion Summoner. I have a couple of good low-drop creatures that I can use, so taking another removal spell is fine by me. Oh boy, I bet whoever opened this Call of the Gatewatch was really excited about it. We have the choice between a Tajuru Pathwarden and an Expedition Raptor again. I think this time I'm going to take the Pathwarden. Since if I play green, like which it looks like I'm going to, having a big thing that can break through board stalls is pretty important to me. So we're going to take these and put these in the sideboard for now. There's another Reality Hemorrhage, which I'm not super interested in. Maybe I just take it anyway, though. I could also take the Wastes, which I think I'm going to do, because being able to cast Spatial Contortion is pretty important. I think more important than taking the Reality Hemorrhage. Guess I'll take an Expedition Raptor. I have to kind of be careful. Oh, actually, no. We're going to take the Unknown Shores, which is probably just better than the Wastes. I have to be careful about the number of 5-drops I have in my deck anyway. So taking Unknown Shores will allow me to splash something powerful if I get it late. We wield a Joraga Auxiliary, which I'm pretty easily going to take. Wow. Wield the Birthing Hulk. Got a Hedron Crawler. Zada's Commando in here too. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Birthing Hulk. I don't particularly want a Hedron Crawler, especially since I have at least 2 guys so far. And I don't really need the colorless that desperately, and I think Birthing Hulk is a great finisher for this deck. So take Ruin in Their Wake. Ruin in Their Wake. Search your library for a basic land card and reveal it. You may put that card onto the battlefield tapped if you control a land named Waste, otherwise put that card in your hand and then shuffle your library. So it's kind of like Rampant Growth, except for like way worse. Ooh, we wield the Baloth Null, which I'm gonna take over the second Loam Larva and over the Seer's Lantern. I'm pretty happy to play Baloth Null if I get it. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. We're gonna take the Call of the Gatewatch for value, which is pretty good with things like Scion Summoner, Wall of Resurgence, etc. Alright, well, we opened up some nothing cards, along with a Rune Processor, and a Tajuru Beastmaster, and a Skyrider Elf, and an Oran Reef Invoker. We could also consider splashing this Radiant Flames. Rolling Thunder is very good, but I don't think so. Honestly, I'd rather play Rune Processor than Birthing Hulk. Birthing Hulk's regeneration is not going to matter a lot, except for against red decks, and we'd rather have the Rune Processor anyway. I could see taking the Tajuru Beastmaster, but I think I'm going to take the Rune Processor, especially with 2 isolation zones. Wow, okay. Okay, we're going to put the Birthing Hulk in the sideboard for now, I think. We're going to go ahead and take this Planar Outburst. Planar Outburst is really good in Limited, and continues to be that way in Oath of the Gatewatch. One thing about Planar Outburst is it destroys all non-land creatures, so Wall of Resurgence land. Still on the battlefield. Especially in a deck with like Baloth Null and Rune Processor as top end. It makes it pretty easy to set up for something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and take Sheer Drop. We might not awaken it as often as we used to, but I think it's still better than taking the Kor Castigator or like trying to splash the Catacomb Sifter as well. Sunken Hollow for value, but no, we're gonna take the Sheer Drop. How many creatures do we have? 10? Ugh. We need more creatures. Maybe we will plan on having this as a creature. Let's see. I like Broodhunter Wurm. No, seriously, I like Broodhunter Wurm. Also, I'm kind of interested in seeing how Retreat Kazandu is in this format, but I think I need more creatures first and foremost. So we're gonna go ahead and take this this Broodhunter Wurm and attack with it, hopefully. Alright, I like Retreat to Emeria. Hopefully we wield the Tajuru Beastmaster. Retreat to Emeria is pretty sweet with like Planar Outburst and things that require support. So we're gonna take that. Here, between the Makindi Patrol, the Shadow Glider, and the Plated Crusher, I'd rather have one of the 3-drops. And I think I like the Shadow Glider more because flying's positive interaction with support. We're going to go ahead and take this Roil's Retribution as more removal. Can never have too much of that, right, guys? I think I'm going to just take Plummet for the sideboard. I feel pretty confident in our playable count. right now. Wield the Beastmaster, which is pretty exciting. We could also consider taking either the Ornreef Invoker or the Felidar Cub. Let's see. What do I have for allies? I think Retreat to Emeria just makes this the clear pick. And then I can not play the Baloth Null. Probably. Still don't have that many creatures, which is kind of a problem. Like, I'd love for this Vines to be a creature. And this Spatial Contortion might not happen. I mean, I've got Scion Summoner, so... Let's see, I could take this Rot Shambler. Something I could do. I guess I do it. Let's see, Kor Castigator or Retreat to Kazandu. It's probably just Kor Castigator. I need more creatures. Hey, Retreat to Kazandu. So we just kind of have to figure out what's good in this deck. Which shouldn't be that hard, right guys? Ooh, Earthen Arms. That makes land creatures. So I'm gonna cut this a little more right now, because we have 13 other creatures, basically. Retreat to Kazandu can go. Not gonna want to cut any other creatures. So what do we have for not creatures? Lead by Example. Immolating Glare. Shoulder to Shoulder. These guys. Planar Outburst, Roil's Retribution, Nissa's Judgment. Okay, I kind of like cutting Lead by Example, I guess. That's fine. I can see cutting that. Like, Lead by Example is less important than I think Shoulder to Shoulder. Wish I had that Saddleback Lycac. Like, that was the only one I saw in this whole draft, too. What did I take over it? Can't even remember. Maybe it was Makindi Aeronaut or something. I hope so. I hope it wasn't like this reality hemorrhage, because I didn't mean it. So yeah, deck's sweet. We're playing Rune Processor, Tajuru Beastmaster, and Retreat to Emeria, plus Planar Outburst, which could be like over here on our curve if we really were feeling ambitious. So yeah, I think this is still an 18 land deck. And we've got like Joraga Auxiliary is mana sink. I don't think I'm going to include Unknown Shores, even though I could. I'm gonna play 7-11, I think. No, that's not right. We're gonna 10-8. Yeah, 10-8 sounds much better. So we're gonna submit this, and I'll see you guys in round 1. Thanks for watching Drafting with Morgan. Make sure to click on the playlist link to watch the full draft, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It was a pleasure drafting with you, and I hope to see you in the next video.